Welcome to Visual Books. Have you ever wondered what separates the true champions, the ones who consistently achieve greatness, from everyone else? What's the secret sauce, the invisible force that propels some to the very top, while others falter at the brink of success? Today, we are exploring The Psychology of Winning, a groundbreaking book that delves deep into the human mind to uncover the fundamental principles that drive extraordinary achievement. Get ready to unlock your own potential, because we're about to dissect the very essence of what it means to win. Lesson 1: The Foundation of Belief. This first chapter lays the absolute bedrock for any aspiring winner. Dr. James provides a stark, yet crucial, insight. Before you can achieve anything significant, you must first believe you are capable of achieving it. It sounds simple, almost ridiculously so, but the author hammers home the point with powerful examples. Think of athletes who, against all odds, perform miracles because deep down, they have an unshakable conviction in their ability. Or consider the entrepreneur who launches a revolutionary product, not because they have all the answers, but because they believe, with every fiber of their being, that it will succeed. The key takeaway here is to actively cultivate and nurture this belief. It's not about blind optimism, it's about a deep-seated understanding of your own strengths and a willingness to work tirelessly towards your goals. The actionable advice? Start by identifying your limiting beliefs. What stories are you telling yourself that hold you back? Then, consciously replace those negative narratives with empowering affirmations and evidence of your past successes, no matter how small. Build that internal foundation of I can, and the external world will begin to align. Chapter 2: Setting Your Sights. Once you believe in yourself, the next logical step is knowing what you want to achieve. This chapter focuses on the critical art of goal setting, not just setting vague aspirations, but establishing clear, compelling, and achievable targets. Dr. James emphasizes that winning isn't accidental, it's a product of intentional direction. He uses examples like legendary coaches who meticulously plan their season, breaking down grand ambitions into manageable steps. Think of Michael Jordan's relentless pursuit of championship rings. Each season, each game, was a step towards that ultimate victory. The actionable advice here is to adopt the SMART goal framework. Your goal should be specific, no ambiguity. Measurable, you need to track your progress. Achievable, realistic, yet challenging. Relevant, aligned with your values and overall aspirations. And time-bound, with a deadline to create urgency. Without clear targets, you're like a ship without a rudder, drifting aimlessly. Chapter 3: The Power of Visualization. This chapter unlocks one of the most potent mental tools in the winner's arsenal: visualization. Dr. James explains that our minds don't always distinguish between a vividly imagined experience and a real one. By mentally rehearsing your success, you can prime your brain to achieve it. He draws parallels to surgeons who visualize complex procedures before operating, or musicians who mentally play through challenging pieces. The key here is to engage all your senses in your mental rehearsal. Imagine the sights, sounds, smells, and even the feelings associated with your success. What does it feel like to cross that finish line? What does it sound like when the crowd cheers? The actionable advice is to dedicate time each day for mental rehearsal. Picture yourself executing flawlessly, overcoming obstacles, and ultimately achieving your desired outcome. This isn't just daydreaming, it's active mental preparation that can significantly boost your confidence and performance. Chapter 4: Mastering Your Inner Dialogue. Our internal monologue, the constant stream of thoughts and self-talk, can be either our greatest ally or our harshest critic. In this chapter, Dr. James highlights the profound impact of this inner dialogue on our ability to win. He points to individuals who sabotage their own success through negative self-talk, constantly reinforcing their doubts and fears. Conversely, those who win often have a positive, encouraging inner voice that motivates and guides them. Think of athletes who, even after a mistake, tell themselves, "shake it off" or "next play." The actionable advice is to become acutely aware of your self-talk. Whenever you catch yourself engaging in negative or self-defeating thoughts, consciously challenge them. Ask yourself if they are true, and then reframe them into constructive, encouraging statements. Train your inner voice to be your biggest cheerleader. Chapter 5: The Importance of Preparation. Winning is rarely about luck, it's predominantly about meticulous preparation. This chapter underscores that true winners don't leave anything to chance. They understand that the seeds of victory are sown long before the competition begins. Dr. James illustrates this with examples of Olympians who spend years honing their skills, athletes who analyze their opponents, and scientists who conduct endless experiments. The underlying principle is that thorough preparation breeds confidence and reduces anxiety. The actionable advice is to embrace the process of preparation. Dedicate the necessary time and effort to learn, practice, and strategize. Break down your larger goals into smaller, manageable tasks and systematically work through them. The more prepared you are, the less room there is for error and the more likely you are to perform at your peak. Chapter 6: Embracing Setbacks and Failures. This is a pivotal chapter. Dr. James argues that setbacks and failures are not the antithesis of winning, they are, in fact, an integral part of the journey. The difference between a winner and a loser often lies in how they respond to adversity. He shares stories of brilliant minds like Thomas Edison, who famously experimented thousands of times before inventing the light bulb, viewing each failure as a step closer to success. Winners learn from their mistakes, adapt their strategies, and emerge stronger. The actionable advice? Reframe your perception of failure. See it not as an endpoint, but as valuable feedback. Analyze what went wrong, extract the lessons, and use that knowledge to inform your next attempt. Develop resilience, the ability to bounce back quickly and effectively from challenges. Chapter 7: Maintaining Motivation. Sustaining motivation over the long haul can be a significant hurdle. This chapter explores the psychological drivers that keep winners going, even when the path gets tough. Dr. James discusses how intrinsic motivation, the drive that comes from within, from passion and enjoyment, is far more powerful than extrinsic motivation, which is driven by external rewards. He highlights individuals who pursue their passions relentlessly, not for fame or fortune, but for the sheer love of what they do. Think of artists who create masterpiece after masterpiece, or scientists who dedicate their lives to discovery. The actionable advice is to connect with your core passion. Understand why you want to achieve your goals. Find the joy in the process itself, and celebrate small victories along the way to keep your momentum high. Chapter 8: The Role of Discipline. While motivation can spark the journey, it's discipline that carries you through. This chapter defines discipline not as punishment, but as the ability to do what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like it. Dr. James uses examples of individuals who build powerful habits through consistent, disciplined action, like the writer who commits to writing every day, or the athlete who sticks to their rigorous training regimen. Discipline creates momentum and builds self-mastery. The actionable advice is to establish routines and habits that support your goals. Be committed to showing up, even on days when inspiration is lacking. Small, consistent efforts compound over time, leading to significant results. Build self-control, and you build the capacity for sustained achievement. Chapter 9: The Mindset of a Champion. This chapter delves into the specific mental frameworks that distinguish champions. Dr. James describes the growth mindset, the belief that abilities can be developed through dedication and hard work, as opposed to a fixed mindset, which views abilities as innate and unchangeable. Champions embrace challenges, persist in the face of setbacks, learn from criticism, and find inspiration in the success of others. They are constantly seeking to learn and improve. The actionable advice? Cultivate a growth mindset. Embrace challenges as opportunities for learning. View criticism as constructive feedback, and celebrate the achievements of those around you. Believe that you can continuously develop your skills and potential. Chapter 10: Building momentum. Winning often creates its own momentum. This chapter explores how success can breed further success, creating a powerful virtuous cycle. Dr. James explains that as you achieve small wins, your confidence grows, which in turn fuels further effort and ultimately leads to larger victories. Think of a snowball rolling downhill, gathering more snow and growing larger as it goes. The key is to recognize and harness this momentum. The actionable advice is to focus on achieving small, attainable wins early on. These early successes build confidence and create the positive energy needed to tackle bigger challenges. Celebrate these wins, big or small, to reinforce the feeling of progress and keep the momentum going. Chapter 11: The Competitive Edge. This chapter examines what gives individuals and teams that extra edge in competitive situations. Dr. James emphasizes that beyond skill and preparation, there's a mental component that separates the good from the great. This often involves a willingness to take calculated risks, to be decisive under pressure, and to possess an intense focus on the objective. He uses examples of athletes who perform at their best when the stakes are highest, or business leaders who make bold, strategic moves. The actionable advice is to develop your decision-making skills, particularly under pressure. Practice staying focused on your objectives, even amidst distractions. And don't be afraid to take calculated risks when the situation warrants it. Chapter 12: Overcoming Self-Doubt. Self-doubt is a universal human experience, but for winners, it's a challenge to be managed, not a barrier to be surrendered to. This chapter provides strategies for confronting and overcoming those nagging feelings of inadequacy. Dr. James stresses that acknowledging your doubts is the first step. Then, you must actively work to counter them with evidence of your capabilities and positive self-affirmations. He shares techniques used by performers who manage stage fright or athletes who push through physical pain by focusing on their mental fortitude. The actionable advice is to develop a repertoire of self-soothing and self-reinforcing techniques. When doubt creeps in, remind yourself of your past successes, your strengths, and your commitment to your goals. Chapter 13: The Power of Focus. In a world filled with distractions, the ability to maintain unwavering focus is a superpower. This chapter highlights how champions are masters of their attention, able to block out noise and concentrate on what truly matters. Dr. James illustrates this with examples of individuals who can enter a state of flow, a deep immersion in their task, where time seems to disappear and performance reaches its peak. He contrasts this with the constant multitasking and fractured attention that can hinder progress. The actionable advice is to practice mindfulness and develop strategies for minimizing distractions. Create an environment that supports concentration and train yourself to bring your attention back to your task whenever it wanders. Chapter 14: Learning to Win. This final chapter synthesizes the preceding concepts, presenting winning not as an innate talent but as a learned skill. Dr. James reiterates that the principles discussed, belief, goal setting, visualization, positive self-talk, preparation, resilience, motivation, discipline, a growth mindset, momentum, competitive edge, and focus, are all elements that can be deliberately learned and practiced. He encourages readers to view their journey towards winning as a continuous process of learning and self-improvement. The overarching message is one of empowerment, that the capacity to win resides within each of us, waiting to be unlocked through conscious effort and the application of these psychological principles. The ultimate actionable advice is to embrace the ongoing journey of learning and self-mastery. Continuously apply these principles, be patient with yourself, and celebrate your progress. The path to winning is a marathon, not a sprint, and it begins with the commitment to learn and grow. Thank you for watching. If you found this summary helpful, please like this video, subscribe to Visual Books for more summaries, and share it with someone who would benefit.